Hello, welcome to the lunch edition of MBC News, and you are with me, Evelis Chikambi. Coming up this afternoon, President Mutharika issues an executive order directing all public places to provide and maintain waste disposal facilities. Persons with disabilities commend government for increasing the Disability Trust Fund to 2 billion kwacha and removing customs duty on assistive devices in the new budget. And traders in the renewable energy sector urged to sell products that comply with the sector's rules and regulations. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, in pursuant to the Constitution of the Republic of Malawi, Chapter 4, which enshrines the right to life, and in recognition of the urgent need to mitigate threats posed by waterborne diseases arising from inadequate sanitation and hygiene, has ordered that all public places, including but not limited to markets, bus depots, car parks, recreational facilities, and venues for public gatherings, shall provide and maintain waste disposal facilities. President Mutharika has also ordered that schools and workplaces, whether public or private, should provide and maintain waste disposal facilities within and surrounding premises. This order shall be enforceable by law and shall take effect immediately upon issuance. Persons with disabilities in the country have commended government for increasing the Disability Trust Fund from 250 million kwacha to 2 billion kwacha and removing of customs duty on assistive devices in the new budget, which was presented in Parliament by Minister of Finance Joseph Mwanamveka. In an interview with Embassy, Vice Chairperson for Malawi Council for Disability, Makoda, Vincent Ranjo, said the increase of the Disability Fund will help to reach out to more persons with disabilities who are needy.
I'm very overwhelmed and so happy because in the first place, the Disability Trust Fund was at low price. Sometimes we were getting 100 million, it jumped into 250 million. Now we are talking of 2 billion, and also we are talking of 250 million for grants for people with disabilities. So here we are so happy, and I'm so happy as one of them, and also as the Vice Chairperson for Makoda. I'm so happy because we have been advocating for this for quite a long time with other organizations for persons with disabilities. Now finding it happening today, we thank the dynamic leadership of His Excellency the State President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the Minister of Gender and also the Minister of Finance for listening to our prayers, and now the dream now is coming true.
Commenting on the same, disability activist Latim Madenje said the exemption of duty on the items will make the equipment and devices more affordable, enabling many people with disabilities to access tools that support them to actively participate in the country's socio-economic development.
Assistive devices are an opening into an open affair which we call inclusivity. You can do whatever you do, then you can be employed in any other department, you can indulge in any format of business, so that when we talk of inclusivity, definitely this budget is opening up into inclusivity, real inclusivity, not inclusivity where we're just talking about. This is real inclusivity because we are talking about availability of devices which people need to function. So hands up, definitely we thank them, and we hope that this is just a mere beginning.
Member of Parliament for Salima Central East, George Gona, who is also Minister of Labour, has commended a Muslim charity, Faizan Global Relief Foundation, for its efforts in helping government address food shortage in various parts of the country. Gona made the recommendation at Senga Bay in Salima when the organisation distributed food packs for Ramadan. Isaac Jali has a report.
At least 4,000 Muslims thronged Senga Bay in Salima to receive food packs from a charity, Faizan Global Relief Foundation, for the month of Ramadan. Speaking during the distribution exercise of the food packs, Member of Parliament for Salima Central East, George Gona, who is also Minister of Labour, commended the organisation for the gesture, but urged other well-wishers to compliment what Faizan has done. He disclosed that in his area, many families are facing hunger due to droughts and erratic rains last season.
I would like to thank FGRF for what they have done to us. They have really helped us. This season of Ramadan, not all of them manage to get food. Others, they don't have food. So coming to of FGRF, that's a relief to us, and I think the community, as a community, I'm speaking on behalf of the community, we are very much appreciated for what they have done. I would like to thank His Excellency Professor Arthur Mutharika for helping us with the relief that we received, I think, three weeks ago. But we can't get it enough.
For his part, Director of Communication at Faizan Global Relief Foundation, Ibrahim Omar Mataya, said apart from providing food for Ramadan, the gesture is also one way of complementing government's effort in addressing food shortage in various parts of the country, saying to date, the organization has distributed relief food to over 15,000 families, and the exercise continues.
Our Prophet Muhammad has said, no believer is a true believer if his stomach is full and his neighbor is hungry. So with that, let me tell you that FGRF has not only been active throughout Ramadan. Obviously, yes, in the month of Ramadan, we have increased our efforts to complement the government's effort because our brothers and sisters in Islam are fasting during this month.
Faizan Global Relief Foundation has so far distributed food to communities in Itiolo, Blantyre and Salima districts, while Mangochi is next. Faizan Global Relief Foundation, FGRF, is a non-government organization dedicated to creating lasting positive change by providing community-led holistic solutions to address the most pressing challenges of the modern times. Isaac Jali, MBC News, Salima.
Prescan Limited has provided food aid to 2,254 households who were affected by flash floods 2 weeks ago in the areas of Traditional Authority Katonga and Masea in Chikwawa District. Mercy Zamawa with the details.
These individuals were affected by flooding caused by the recent heavy rains following the cyclone Gezani, which affected 2,254 households in Chikwawa. This is what prompted Prescan to donate food items to the survivors. According to Prescan Chief Executive Officer Bryson Nkomanto, the assistance is mounted to 51 million kwacha.
People were displaced. Currently, some have gone back into their homes, but some of them, their food was destroyed. So we thought we can stand with them, give them some temporary support as they look for more support from other people.
Member of Parliament for the area, Gerard Bede, thanked Prescan for their support to the affected people.
Foremost, we want to thank the Prescan company for assisting us with the food items for those who have been affected by this cyclone Gezani. The total number of the affected people in my constituency is almost 2,254, whereby the company of Prescan has really reached those all affected, and we appreciate for that.
One of the beneficiaries, Mercy Chimwenye, expressed her gratitude for the aid and called on others to help, saying what they have received will cater for a few days. Currently, some households are still living in camps. Mercy Zamawa, MBC News, Chikwawa.
The International Organization for Migration, IOM, has challenged district councils to embrace a multi-sectoral approach in supporting climate-displaced populations. IOM National Disaster Risk Reduction Officer Master Simon made the remarks in Mangochi after presenting a project under the banner Response to Climate Displacement in Sub-Saharan Africa. And in Malawi, IOM intends to construct evacuation centers and provide sustainable livelihoods for displaced communities in a number of districts, including Mangochi. Sotin Ndazi has compiled this report, being read by Owen Mavula.
Climate-displaced populations are individuals or communities forced to leave their homes due to the impacts of climate change, such as extreme weather events, rising water levels, and resource scarcity. In Malawi, such occurrences are common in rainy seasons and mostly affect and displace households in many districts. In response to such climatic shocks, the International Organization for Migration is set to carry out interventions focusing on population displaced by climate-related occurrences in sub-Saharan Africa with financial support from European Union, and Malawi is one of the beneficiaries. Speaking when he presented the project to Mangochi District Council, National Disaster Risk Reduction Officer for International Organization for Migration in Malawi, Master Simon, said the project will involve key stakeholders including the Department of Disaster Management Affairs and district councils in selected districts of Msanje, Chikwawa, Mangochi, Mulanje, Palombe, Blantyre and Dowa.
Important that we engage the council to brief them, to inform them, and also maybe to get some feedback in terms of how the situation is currently, so that maybe as we start implementation, we should take note of anything that the council would suggest, but also would like the council to support us because it's a political arm of the council. Therefore, they also have a very important role to mobilize the communities that will be targeted in the program, but also making sure that they check on us in terms of accountability on how the funds are being used and all that. So we expect the council really to play an important role in this project.
On his part, Director of Economic Planning and Development for Mangochi District Council, Newton Muntali, commended the organization for selecting the district to be among the beneficiaries.
To crown it all, I think the project is going to make our communities resilient, to this climatic shock, and it will reduce the cases of displacement within the communities. So, which means we will not have a lot of migration from one community to the other due to climatic shock.
Areas of traditional authorities Makanjira, Chowe, Chimala and Jalasi in Mangochi are expected to benefit from the project.
You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chingambi. A reminder of the top stories. President Mutharika issues an executive order directing all public places to provide and maintain waste disposal facilities. Persons with disabilities commend government for increasing the Disability Trust Fund to 2 billion kwacha and removing customs duty on assistive devices in the new budget. And traders in the renewable energy sector urged to sell products that comply with the sector's rules and regulations. Welcome back. Traders in the renewable energy sector have been urged to sell products that comply with the sector's rules and regulations. Senior renewable energy specialist for the Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority, MERA, Frank Polobolo, gave the advice during an inspection exercise, saying the inspection is a mixed bag as other traders are complying with the said regulations, whilst others are not. MERA, in collaboration with the Malawi Bureau of Standards and the Malawi Revenue Authority, MRA, have embarked on an exercise aimed at enforcing availability of standard renewable energy products on the market. We have a report by Geoffrey Ginawa.
In a bid to increase access to electricity, government is employing a number of approaches. One of them is making renewable energy products affordable by removing import tax. With the growing market of renewable energy products, 3 public institutions, MERA, MRA, and MBS, have teamed up to ensure that such products are of quality standards. To ensure this, MERA and MBS have commenced a market inspection initiative. Speaking after commencing the inspection in Blantyre, senior renewable energy specialist for MERA, Frank Mpurupuru, said there is a need for stricter adherence to regulations in the sector, as access to energy is one of the enablers of development in a country. Mpurupuru said substandard renewable energy products pose accident risks to people and property, hence the enforcement.
In regulation, this is where we have got enforcement framework, where we have got the procedures, where we check these products out there so that we should protect Malawians. You know that these products need to be safe, but also should have high quality standards. So in this case, we are targeting whereby when people buy these products should perform as they have been specified behind it. So we have got the templates. So in this case, for example, a panel is 100 watts. So we expect that that panel should indeed produce 100 watts when it is performing. So in this case, that's what we are checking. But also, sometimes energy is dangerous. They deal with batteries. So sometimes batteries can burst and the like if they are of low standards. So in this case, they will damage lives of people, property of people. So being in public institutions, we need to protect Malawians from those dangers again.
In his remarks, Senior Certification Officer for MBS, Masozi Mwenefumbo, said their institution has the necessary capacity to ensure adherence to standards in the renewable energy sector.
As Malawi Bureau of Standards, we are always committed under the MBS Act to work in line with our mandate, but also in collaboration with other stakeholders like MERA and MRA to ensure that the market is cleansed of substandard products. And we are continuing to carry out our own even independent market surveillances. Some of our teams, as I'm talking, are already on the ground doing similar exercises. So it is our commitment to make sure that Malawi is cleansed from any substandard products.
Some of the products under inspection are solar panels, solar batteries, and solar bulbs. Jeffrey Shinawa, MBC News, Blantyre.
Harvest Plus Solutions has embarked on an initiative to help produce higher volumes of orange maize seed, which is rich in vitamin A. Country Director for Nutritious Agriculture, a logo implementing partner for the project under Harvest Plus, Delings Piri, said while seeds for a high iron such as beans and orange-fleshed sweet potatoes are readily available in Malawi, seed companies have found it hard to produce seeds for orange maize due to scarcity of foundation seed. More in this report by Godfrey Maocha.
Under the National Nutrition Multi-Sector Strategic Plan of 2025-2030, the Malawi government is ensuring that the country has an increase in the consumption of food crops rich in essential nutrients, namely high iron beans, yellow maize, and orange-fleshed sweet potato. One area that needs to be looked into is seed multiplication. Piri says his organization has partnered Quarry Basic Seed, an international foundation seed producing organization based in Kenya and Zambia, to produce foundation seed on its behalf.
Quarry Basic Seed will be producing foundation seed and selling it to us in the next few years. But at the same time, they will also be supplying inbred lines to us. Now, while we supply foundation seed to local seed companies for the production of certified seed, we will also be building capacity in the local seed companies to start bulking these inbred lines so that they can start producing their own foundation seed.
A lecturer in agronomy at the Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Luana, Kandodo Maganga, hails the Ministry of Agriculture for efforts it is undertaking in seed multiplication.
Many efforts by the government, by the Department of Agriculture Research Services in the Ministry of Agriculture to release varieties of orange maize, and we've seen them releasing varieties such as MH39A, MH40A, MH42A, MH43A. All those are for orange maize. So we have the varieties that have been released, they are on the market. Then companies can take them up for multiplication to meet the demand.
According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, 23% of child death cases are due to undernutrition.
And that report compiled by Godfrey Maucha was read by Chisomo Break. The ruling Democratic Progressive Party DPP has spoken of the need for the electorate to vote for the party's candidates to support President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's development agenda. The DPP Vice President for the North, Jabe Muhango, was speaking during a series of meetings conducted in Rumpi Central constituency. Alex Mongosi has filed this report, being read by Jackson Sijali.
Addressing people in Rumpi Central constituency, Muhango said Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's government has lined up a number of development activities for the country in general and the Rumpi district in particular. Jape Muhango, who is also Minister of Transport and Public Works, said the DPP government agenda is to improve people's lives and recover the country's ailing economy. He then called on people in Rumpi Central constituency to vote for Walita Mkandawile, who will support the president's vision of transforming the country.
Well, to appeal to people of Rumpi Central to come out in their numbers come 17th of March. Cast their vote for Walita Mkandawile, who is a candidate for the Democratic Progressive Party, the party led by His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, for various reasons. One is that he is a bona fide member of the party, and we believe that being a party in government, he would be the best ambassador for the professor in as far as development is concerned in Rumpi Central. We believe that he's got what it takes. He's got the acumen that would help bring development in this area. For reasons that, one, he's from here, resident at Rumpi. He is not an imported candidate.
Deputy Minister of Health Charles Chilambula said the people should vote for the DPP candidate because government has plans to upgrade a number of health facilities, including Kanyerere and others in Rumpi.
As we are upgrading the facilities, we need more people. It might not be directly the Minister of Health itself in recruiting, but we can have partners. Like in the past, we have had the Global Fund, which has recruited a lot of health workers in the system. Those ones were paid by Global Fund, but through the government of Malawi. So when the budget is passed, we shall be able to give the clear direction of that. But be assured that the Minister of Health will surely be able to get more workers.
Rumpi Central constituency fell vacant following the appointment of Right Honorable Enoch Chihana as second Vice President of the country, and the by-election is scheduled to take place on 17th of March. Also gracing the meetings was the DPP Regional Governor for North, Christopher Mzomera, who is also Presidential Advisor on Parliamentary Affairs.
The University of Malawi, UNEMA, and a Germany-based Max Planck Research Institution have launched a 5-year research program aimed at advancing new perspectives and methodologies in population, health and family research. Speaking during the launch of the project in Blantyre, UNEMA's Dean of Humanity, Emmanuel Ngira, said the research will help enhance collaboration between the two institutions while bridging gaps in demographic research in Malawi.
The partnership means international collaboration between the University of Malawi and Max Planck Institute of Demographic Research, and that means University of Malawi would benefit from Max Planck because it's a big institution, so we benefit technically. We'll learn from them. Our researchers will grow by working with Max Planck, and in that sense, it means if our researchers grow and they improve their skills, the quality of research and data they're going to produce is going to be top-notch, and that is going to be very handy, very important in influencing policy in the country.
In his remarks, Director of the Research Institute said the project provides an opportunity to engage with researchers and policyholders to share knowledge and ethical means of using administrative data.
Three key strands that we want to advance. One of them is to use administrative and register data for continuous monitoring of population processes. This is critically important. With rising costs, the administrative data opportunity is an option to keep costs really under control while at the same time increasing the high quality of population data. So that is number one. Number two is to try to understand the family formation and demographic processes of not yet studied populations, including diverse individuals. And number three, that I would say is perhaps the most important of these goals, is to try to understand the family formation and fertility of University of Malawi and more broadly Malawi graduate students. So these graduate students, they represent, in a sense, even though they're a small group of the total population, they represent kind of the vanguard population whose family formation likely over time represents the behavior of the national population as a whole.
And that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A recap of our top stories before we leave. President Mutharika issues an executive order directing all public places to provide and maintain waste disposal facilities. Persons with disabilities commend government for increasing the Disability Trust Fund to 2 billion kwacha and removing customs duty on assistive devices in the new budget. And traders in the renewable energy sector urged to sell products that comply with the sector's rules and regulations. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital pages by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Evelis Chingambe. Thanks for watching and good afternoon.